All right, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Thursday, April 25th, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So we do have some earnings after the bell here. I'm going to be covering that live with members after at 4 p.m., but we'll talk about that in a second. I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal. We'll talk about that in a second, though. Bottom line, though, market right now. So from a big picture standpoint, we had I would call this a stagflation print, 100%. And that's what everybody else is saying, and the market's finally figuring that out. You can see core PCE revised up, GDP revised down a lot. And that is signaling stagflation. So economy is slowing down, but prices are going up. That's kind of like the boogeyman, right? That's like the worst of both worlds. Because if GDP is going down and inflation is coming down, then that's okay because the Fed can cut to get us out of it. But since that's not happening and that's juxtaposed, the Fed can't do anything about it, which has kind of been the thesis for a while, that stagflation is a problem. And that's despite a lot of other economists saying that wouldn't be a problem, and then inflation was going to crash and all that other things I've been telling you otherwise, obviously. And you can see here yields today, which we'll talk about later, but 2-year perking up nicely, and the 30-year here, new highs, new local highs, at least going back to, I think, November. So that's what the market's doing, but market's getting a buy the dip. Why? I think a couple of things. And yes, I did buy this dip this morning nicely, right at 5K on the SPX. There was a gamma wall there. They weren't going to break that easily, especially on a gap down. But partly, I think, is you look at the SPX here, and I can get rid of our day trading lines there. This isn't enough, right? we gotta bounce more. I think the NQ is actually a little bit better. So right here, you can see on the NQ, if we just take a box, it took us about a month to get through that, right? We had to kind of go sideways and consolidate for a month. By the way, that was essentially a previous all-time high area that we were trying to break through. So a lot of supply and then resistance, or supply and then demand now there. 4 days, we're not going to break through that easily after 4 days. That's essentially my thesis right now. And you can see the SPX here getting a nice slingshot rebound higher. Again, uncontested sell into support down. They're going to shake you out. And then here's the next move. I know I've been kind of loud as far as being kind of bullish here, but don't worry, bears, it's coming. So the next move here, the bulls are going to get very loud. Once we make a higher high here, which I do still have penciled in, you're going to see the bulls get really loud, and you're going to see bears back off and get nervous. That's going to be when I'm looking for that next shoe to drop. The first leg of the bear is always the weakest. The next one, that's going to be the one that really takes us down here. So that's kind of my thesis right now. Additionally, kind of supporting that is, again, I like to look at AAII from every now and then. And bears stayed about the same, just a 0.1 downtick, and bulls dropped off pretty sharply down to 32.1, well below the 52-week average. A lot of that probably happened yesterday with Meta. I mean, it was a bloodbath yesterday with Meta. They filled the gap in the after hours. That's how bad it got. And look, a pretty good buy here off the lows. One of the things that also kept me in this morning, I was just telling people in the trading room, SMH, right off the bat, first 10, 15 minutes, this was squeezing up. And I always look at the SMH as a leading indicator. And it went green very quickly. What else went green very quickly? NVIDIA, SMCI, Broadcom, Gap and Go. And here's another one that nobody pays attention to, because everybody's looking at Meta, but you got to pay attention to some of these companies. Lam Research, this is one of the most important stocks in the market to me today. And, nobody cares about Lam Research, but I do, because yesterday, if we go into their earnings, they gapped down. That got sliced on earnings, and guess what? It gapped up this morning. That tells me that there's like a role reversal going on, and it held the gains. We had a little dip there, and then it snapped right back up. So seeing that tells me, okay, semiconductor outperformance, That's a bullish sign. Look at the Qs this morning going up, right, while the spiders are going down. We know that's a divergence. That's a bullish divergence. And Q's outside move. The other thing I said in the trading room, I said in the short this morning, watch the overnight low. You get above that with a higher low, we're going to squeeze up. That's exactly what happened. ES did that afterwards, broke back above this overnight low and tested it as support. There you go. So simple level-to-level work here. And we'll see what we get into earnings. I think it's going to be a split. One of them will do crappy. One of them will do okay. The crappy one, probably, if I had to guess, and again, I'm just making this up. I don't know if it's actually, the earnings are a crapshoot. But I'm going to say Microsoft does poorly and Google does well. The reason I say that is because Microsoft has been a fat hog for a long time. And it's been at all-time highs for a while. And if you look at this pattern here, this looks like distribution to me, given the fact that now we're above that line. But it looks like there's been some distribution going on. Whereas with Google, yeah, there's been some distribution, but you have higher highs. And I think that Meta kind of set the bar low for Google with the ad revenue stuff. And you look at Google intraday, V-shape. So people were willing to buy this dip on Google, or at least shorts were willing to cover ahead of earnings, right? So I think maybe Google could do a little bit better. Either way, we have the actual PCE for last month tomorrow morning. So even if they both do horribly, we still have PCE that I think is now priced in a little bit, at least in the bond market. So again, I'm still in the camp that we're going to have a little bit more of a rally. I don't think the rally's done. But big picture, the selling isn't done either. So that's where I stand right now. And we'll see after earnings here. So that's my analysis. Maybe it gets turned on its head in a few minutes. But we'll find that out. You do have a little resistance up here with the 20 and 50 moving average, a little necktie. That would be an interesting place for the market to go. But again, I still think we'll test 5,100 at least going into tomorrow. Again, the Qs, this is your big level up here, 433.50 to 434. Big level there. Russell 2000, nice recovery as well. And this was something I noted this morning as well to members, was that obviously it got smoked when we had the PCE stuff, but the Russell was green this morning when the NASDAQ, the Dow, and the S&P were red. So something else to consider there. IWM, I still think 200 to 202 is a possibility. The Dow got hit really hard today, and it did not recover because Caterpillar, down 6%, makes up a large chunk of it, as does Microsoft, which, recovered, but still down quite a bit. So I believe a lot of that kind of skewed the Dow to the downside. But, it's still holding that level. Look at that white trend line. Well, look where it went, right there. So it's almost as if these levels mean something. Right at 377.98, so 390 or 378 essentially. That's where we got a bounce there. This is still resistance though on the diamond. Semis, very good day. I like that you gapped down and you engulfed. So that is a positive here for the SMH. We'll look at 220 here in the short term. There's also the little necktie with the 50 and the 20. The SOX were also strong. This is another thing too. So we know NVIDIA makes up a large chunk of the SMH. So for breadth, the SOX is better, and the SOX was actually more bullish this morning than SMH. Like, look at how deeper of a cut the SMH went than the SOX. The SOX didn't even go below yesterday's low. That is when I saw that this morning, I was like, oh, bulls might have something here if they can sustain this. So again, good move here. Again, SOX 47.50 area, maybe 48. IGV, good rebound there as well. Possible higher low. Again, it's still 83.84. Nothing's changed. Dow Transport's also trying to get a higher low, barely. And that's despite LUV getting smoked, down 7. AAL did okay, though. So AAL was up 1% on with their respective earnings. Transport's holding up a little bit better. I still don't like it, though, on the bigger time frames. All right, rates we talked about, but we'll just quickly go over it really quick again. 2 years still, and I think this could be what does it, is if this breaks out, that could be what ends the rally, because you're now talking, they keep pushing these rate cuts back, and the market keeps rallying like, oh, we're going to get the next one, we'll get the next one. Hey, guys, I don't think they're coming, unless something big happens here. But the 2 years holding up, and the Fed cannot cut right now. 5-year higher high, 10-year higher high, 30-year higher high. Long-term inflation expectations remain anchored. That is what is that. That's what that is saying. XHB here, decent recovery. Yeah, actually sold off sharply on the open and all the way back. So good V shape there. I still am expecting lower highs on this. Right now you got to get through 105 and then you got a gap up there. A little bit of a sloppy pattern, but good recovery there. VNQ red, but came way off the lows as well. Still a lot of resistance up at 82 there. XLF was actually weak today, even though it came off the lows. So this was strange. I actually had a buy signal on XLF this morning, and it kind of failed, and then it eventually worked out in the end. But like I said, XLF here last week and a half has been outperforming, right? Technology has been underperforming, and today that flipped. SMH went to outperform, and XLF took a breather. So I'm still looking for lower highs here, maybe back up to 4150 or so. But yeah, XLF hanging in there. KRE was down as well. Little tail candle, it's holding up. KBE still holding up okay. That's not bearish, believe it or not. And then XBD here, another tail candle. Again, I'm still looking for lower highs there too. Oil here, still pretty neutral, but it had a really good rally towards the end of the day. It was down early, and then boom, look at that big takeoff. So maybe oil can come back here. It doesn't look like, let me just check here. Yeah, I don't think, yeah, so oil actually sold off after the revisions. And then now it's come back here. I'm still thinking 85, 50 is resistance right now. I just don't know what it wants to do. I'm not in love with the weekly because of that red candle, that outside move down. The trend is still up here, and it could still have one more juice in it. I wouldn't rule it out, but I'm not playing it in either direction. XLE also very impressive recovery again. Gap down green, gap down green, gap down green, gap down green, gap down, sell off green. 5 days in a row, guys. That's gap down and gone green. So somebody's buying these dips here in XLE and XOP and OIH. So a very interesting price action here. CCJ starting to get really firm on the daily and weekly. So this is still holding up here and probably setting up for another move. URNM daily bear flag. So I'd be careful with this one here, but the weekly is still bullish inside bar. Nat Gas has a contract roll tomorrow. Again, a little follow through here. Again, front contract smoked again, but look at the M. Actually went green and kind of got above yesterday's high for a second. So again, I think a lot of what happened yesterday was contract stuff. We did have inventories today, and it actually made a higher low after that. After the fact. That tells me that this was pricing in inventories, even though the number was hotter, it was 92 versus 87, I think. So it was a bigger build than expected, but you had a higher low anyway. It's probably priced in there. We'll see what it does after this M rolls over. Again, I still think it's been having a lot of success in the trading room, trading this range here on Nat Gas, and we've been doing really good. I mean, this is basically paying the bills at this point. But yeah, Nat Gas, we'll see maybe that continuous contract wedge can finally play out. All right, anyway, dollar index backing off today, and again, strong inflation print, but dollar backing off anyway after the big surge. So again, a little bit of weakness there. Still has a lot of support, above the 20 and even more at 105. I think this is setting up for another push. All right, gold today was interesting. I think somebody got blown out on Newmont. 13.5 now. So if you're going to see, you can see GLD in the corner of my screen here. Big volume right there. I think someone got blown up short miners with the Newmont news, because all of a sudden at 10:30, gold popped hard, silver popped hard, all the miners popped hard, and it looked to me like it was like almost like a margin call. Somebody, got called. It popped, and then it came. See, there's silver popped, and then it came back in. Same thing with gold, right? It popped, and then it came back in. Usually, when something like that happens, it's a margin call. Like back here, remember I talked about this. We had that the Sunday night, the futures open. Somebody got blown out, and then it came back down, back to earth. So I think that may have happened here with gold, but I'll say this: the miners are still holding the still holding the gains. Look at GDX. So it got that pop, and then boom, that's taken off here. That's the GDX, the GDXJ royalties here. Go AU up 2.5. RGLD, WPM, Franco, they're all looking very good here. Sandstorm, these all got bullish patterns here on the daily. So these miners are acting well. Gold and silver, a little bit weaker of a bid, but when the miners are acting well, that ain't a problem. We got a lot more earnings to get through here, but I think the market seriously mispriced the fact that gold is at 2,400 an ounce. Like they thought Newmont wasn't going to make money. Like, so I don't know. I guess maybe there's a scramble to reprice, but miners acting well. I still think gold could get back to 2,250 potentially. Probably a dip by opportunity, and the same thing with silver, looking for 26. But very good price action from the miners though. And then platinum getting a good bid there, up 1.2, needed it there. And then palladium down fractionally, nothing terrible though. And then copper here just doesn't want to quit. New 52-week highs, new multi-year highs, and not well. Actually, it is a new closing high, but not above the tail high. So copper very overbought, but still holding up really well. Bitcoin, hanging in there. So again, trying for a higher low here, but I'm still in the camp that this might make another lower high. But again, you guys know I'm going to keep saying it over and over. The weekly is fine. So markets here, backing off just a little bit here. We got about 20 minutes left in the day. There's a ton of GEX at 50-50, so that is probably where we're going to close on the SPX. Overall, pretty good price action here. Again, I just don't think the market would, like a lot of bears I'm seeing are angry, but like, you guys, like it's not going to, how many bear markets have you seen that just do this from an all-time high? That never happens. It never happens. Like you get bounces, and if you're bearish, you should actually be happy right now because now you get more meat on the bone. And I think that will continue here for a little bit longer. Definitely a treacherous market though. For day trading, definitely reduce your position size. I've been looking for reducing my size and then looking for bigger swings due to the volatility, and that's been working out pretty well here for the last week or so. I've been having a lot of success in the trading room here. But in any case, we'll see what Microsoft, Google bring, and then PCE tomorrow. Weekly close will tell us a lot more about where this market's headed in the short term. So anyways, guys, gonna wrap up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. Talk to you guys all tomorrow.